All right, so now we're going to go to the really work part of what we're doing. So let's see where I have it. Action plans. So this is what I've been hinting at for the past 2 days. That the idea here, and which I ask you to keep in mind in all of the sessions, was to come up with things that could be used as a basis for future collaboration between the chapters. Something that the chapters think they could work on after this meeting, and how they would work with the other chapters in doing so. So I think we've touched on a couple of issues over these past 2 days that could be the subject of that, and I think it's important that that there's a little bit time given to what those topics could be. So I'm going to show you a slide with some of the examples that I've heard that is not suggestions, it's only concrete illustrations. So for example, what I would like to do is that we break out in groups again, potentially in accordance to either privacy or access. And then that group should, on the basis of the things that we've been discussed, some of the different chapters have identified this has been an issue in our case, this has been an experience in our case. So for example, Molly chapter was describing their experience of trying to deploy an IXP, which I think is a very useful knowledge and experience to share with others in collaborating around IXP. So I would definitely want to see if there's a group on IXPs that you can ensure that you have, for example, the Molly chapter's experience in there. But some of the ones that I just as examples, this is very much just examples, it's not suggestions, but how I would like to have that goal phrased to be very concrete. So the examples that I provided could be, for example, that the group says, we would like to promote local content for remote villages. So it's very specific what it's about. It's about local content. It relates to remote villages. The other one could be that we would like to collaborate with the ISPs to discuss how connectivity in rural areas could be improved. So the goal here is to set up the discussion with the ISPs. That is the goal to achieve. And to be able to have, for example, a workshop with ISPs discussing the challenges that they've experienced, invite to the same workshop regulators discussing how they perceive it, etc. So really the goal is to facilitate that discussion around a specific topic around connectivity in rural areas. So those could be two goals, two clear goals of what the action plan should aim at, what the group should be working towards. And while you're in those groups, you should consider these questions. So why do I need the other chapters? Because that will help you identify how you should be collaborating, right? So it could be that in some of these issues, let's say that we would have a topic around IXPs. Then the answer to this question might be, why do I need the other chapters? Well, because the other chapters have had way more experience than we have had around setting up IXPs. It could be that this other chapter has a government that is favorable towards this. How do I convince my government to do it? So really try to nail out what is the benefit of collaboration here, because if you do that, you will actually try to practice that collaboration. And then also which chapters will lead this. Try to identify whom of you would like to have your name on the ticket, so to speak, and commit to being part of this action plan. And I'm hoping a lot of chapters will sign up to everything. And then lastly, to really, before we close this meeting, to have identified the first step and how to make it continue. So it could be that in your group, you've identified that we want to work towards this goal. We've stated why it's good to collaborate. We've identified who's going to be in it. And then lastly, this is the first step we're going to do. We're going to have an online meeting on the 30th of now? September, October, where we're going to plan a workshop. Something very concrete. And preferably as well, how do we make it continuous? It could be that, you know, we're going to have a call every second week with updates or something that makes it tangible. So before we go forward, I would propose that we do one on privacy and one on access, because I sensed that there was a lot of interest in doing something around privacy. But I was hoping that you guys wanted to give suggestions on how we organize this planning. So if anyone has any suggestions, please go ahead. Okay, let's do this. That we create. Do you have a suggestion? Give me a few minutes. All right. So we're going to lose our equipment soon, but that's fine. So how about we do this? That all of those that are interested in working out an action plan on something around access, interested in formulating a goal around that and trying to set up goes over there, and the ones that want to do something on privacy go to this table, and then we'll see how it flows.